And joining me now is the Speaker of the House, Republican Congressman Mike Johnson.
Looking like he's getting prepared to lie.
Of Louisiana. Speaker Johnson, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Hey, Kristen, great to be with you as always.
It's great to have you back, Mr. Speaker. As you know, reaction has been pouring into that Oval Office meeting on Friday. Democrats and even some Republicans say it only emboldened Vladimir Putin. A Kremlin spokesman saying today that the U.S. foreign policy shift, quote, largely coincides with its vision. Here was the Wall Street Journal editorial board, quote, Putin wins the Trump-Zelensky Oval Office spectacle. Was Vladimir Putin the winner here, Mr. Speaker?
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
Listen, I have participated in a lot of bilateral meetings in my time with heads of state and other dignitaries. There's always a certain protocol that goes along with this. I've never seen anything like President Zelensky's behavior there. He berated and interrupted his host, and instead of expressing gratitude for the extraordinary help that the U.S. has provided his country and effectively helped him stay alive and stay in power.
Here Johnson is using the propaganda technique of framing. He is highlighting certain things that happened and disregarding certain other things that happened. Basically, he's referring to when Zelensky was defending himself regarding why a ceasefire is not possible right now, because of all the agreements that Russia has violated in the past. By focusing on, say, heated words that were taken out of context, that were appropriate for the context, he is framing Zelensky as an ingrate, when really that is very far from the truth.
So the way that went down was very disappointing. I hope and pray, frankly, that President Zelensky will come to his senses, come back to President Trump, express gratitude as he should, apologize for his behavior there, and accept this mineral rights deal, because that is the best way for us to get to a point of peace over there in that region, and it's in the interest of both countries.
Well, I want to play you what you said almost a year ago when you argued in favor of sending more aid to Ukraine. Take a listen.
I believe Xi and Vladimir Putin and Iran really are an axis of evil. I think they're in coordination on this. I think that Vladimir Putin would continue to march through Europe if he were allowed. I think he might go to the Balkans next. I think he might have a showdown with Poland or one of our NATO allies. To put it bluntly, I would rather send bullets to Ukraine than American boys.
If you look at the Oval Office footage, things got heated when Zelensky said that you're not feeling the pain now, but you will. And God bless, you won't, but if Ukraine is not supported now, you will. This is exactly what Speaker Johnson is referring to here. But he doesn't say that. He frames the situation completely differently. He frames it as a president as an ungrateful president, basically. That Zelensky was ungrateful for American aid.
Mr. Speaker, do you still believe that Ukraine is an ally who the United States should support over Vladimir Putin and an axis of evil?
Yes, it's pretty absurd for anyone in the media or Democrats to somehow proclaim that President Trump, the White House, or Republicans in Congress are on Putin's side.
Who are you going to believe, me or your own lying eyes? This is the propaganda technique of gaslighting. The weight of evidence very much points to Trump and Vance being on Putin's side. Trump said he was going to pull aid today from Ukraine. Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't do it earlier. Every single decision he makes benefits Putin. Why is that?
It's a joke. We understand that he is a dangerous adversary and he is the one that provoked the war. When we did the aid to Ukraine a year ago, the entire point of that, and I was consistent from that moment until today, the whole point was to position Ukraine for peace talks, to make sure that they could hold the line until President Trump returned to the White House, which we knew was going to happen. President Trump is the only figure on the entire globe who is powerful enough to bring both of these parties to the table. And he was in the process of doing that. And he was very, I think, excited about the deal that was going to be.
You see, sometimes you wonder if these people buy their own bullshit. And so I kind of feel this way here. I do not think that Mike Johnson is pro-Putin at all. But he has to hold a united front. And I'm not sure that Johnson has really accepted the fact that Trump is actually on Putin's side. I don't think the facade is as united as it might seem.
Consummated yesterday. But President Zelensky went in and blew it up. And it is such a great disappointment for everyone. We need to get him back to the table. We need to get Ukraine to express gratitude, of course, for all that we've done for them. But to bring an end to this conflict, it is in America's interest to get this done. And it is certainly, obviously, in Ukraine's interest and all of our allies in Europe and around the world.
But, Mr. Speaker, you're saying that we all know that Putin provoked the war. Actually, President Trump said that President Zelensky provoked the war. The week started with the U.S. siding with Russia and North Korea at the UN, refusing to condemn Russian aggression in Ukraine. It ended with this Oval Office confrontation with Zelensky. Is President Trump realigning the United States with Russia here?
No, President Trump is trying to get these two parties to a point of peace.
I actually feel sorry for him here. I think he actually believes this BS.
And it takes certain maneuvers and certain strategies to do that.
This can also be considered the propaganda technique of glittering generalities. He said that Trump here is using certain maneuvers, but he does not say what maneuvers that might be. Basically, he's saying that Trump is playing 3D chess, 5D chess. Is he, though? I doubt it.
You have two parties who, to this point, have not shown any interest, apparently, in getting to peace. What President Zelensky did in the White House was effectively signal to us that he's not ready for that yet. And I think that's a grave disappointment. We have to get this settled. And we stand with our allies, we always do, but they have to be reasonable. You've got to bring an end to this war. And for Zelensky to come in and make demands that he wasn't even making a year ago.
As far as I know, this is the propaganda technique of disinformation. He does not say specifically what demands he was making then that he was not making a year ago. As far as I know, he was not making any demands in particular. He was defending his record in Ukraine and laying out why Putin cannot be trusted with a ceasefire at this time.
I think shows that his priorities are in the wrong place, and I certainly hope that he will come back to his senses. President Trump has been very clear about this, that if he is ready for peace, then we can negotiate a deal. And Kristen, this mineral rights deal is a win-win.
This is also the propaganda technique of misinformation. It is simply not true. Trump said that he was cutting off all aid to Ukraine. Then he immediately pivots to how great this mineral deal would be.